Good morning, guys. How's everybody doing today? I'm already partway through this. This is going to be a quick lesson on invisible sets because there's different approaches that you have to take sometimes. In this instance, the cross is too small to do it the traditional way. So we were able to solder, okay, one of the invisible sets back the way we would normally do it, and then what the customer had requested on this one was that we build a wire frame across the top. So I've done that a number of times on larger pieces, but this one is, I'm using 26 gauge wire and it's just not happening. It's still too small. So what I did, if you look, you'll see what I've done already is I put little balls of solder on each of the corner. Actually, I use the spot welder and spot welded them in place, but you could do the same thing with hard solder and just put them where they all crisscross. So there's a little bit of space in between each of these stones on the center part of the grid. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flow some extra easy solder and try to get it to go in between the grid. This will be a case-by-case basis when you're fixing something like this. Sometimes there's simply not enough metal exposed for you to do it, and other times there's just enough that you can eke in some solder to try and hold it down basically from the crown like it was a traditional setting, right? The thing that you want to watch out for with this is that you don't want to overheat it, okay? Because if you heat it too much, you'll loosen off the stones that are already still in there securely. But this customer has had problems, of course, because it's an invisible set, with the stones falling out. So, failing being able to put bars of wire across there and compress them down in and blend it so that it's actually holding on the crown in a grid pattern as well as the grooves underneath, this is going to be our next best solution. Not 100% that this is going to work, but I wanted to give it a try and show you guys so that you see that there are opportunities to approach an invisible set different ways, okay? So we're using a number 4 torch tip. And what we're going to do is I've already dipped it in flux, the whole piece, just your regular general purpose flux. And now we're just going to burn that down real quick. After spot welding, you can still see that there's some soot on there. So what I did was I dipped it in the ultrasonic real quick, and I steamed off the areas that we're gonna be working in. So what we're gonna do now is, in every part of this, from this point forward, we're gonna come straight down. So we're gonna heat this up a little bit. And we're going to put hard flux into the grid where we want to get the solder to stay, right? So this is where you have to really make sure that your hard solder comes down to just a glaze. And you can fry the diamonds, so do be careful, okay? So now I've got some really small pieces of solder, and what we're going to do is we're just going to try and lay them on here. And we may need to use our solder pick to fiddle around with them. Nope, we lost that one. What I'm going to try and do is, I'm trying to set it not along the lines of where we want the solder to flow, but in the corners of the grid. Because even though these are small pieces of solder, there is more than enough material here that if we heat this just right, it should flow along the lines, okay? So this is where you're gonna wanna watch really close. You do wanna have a bit of a bushy flame, all right? And just go in small circles. If it doesn't fall into one of those grooves, then take your solder pick and do a minor adjustment. Our tank pressure changed, or our line pressure I should say, so our flame is a little too much. We're going to dial this back some. Watch your diamonds. If they start to glow red, then you need to back off, okay? And if there's enough room, we should be able to get this solder to go along the lines and fill in. And I see we have one side that actually went in. Let's do a little more hard flux. I'm going to try this one more time. Now our flame is too sharp, which is going to make it oxidize, and then it's not going to want to go where we want it to. All right, let's try moving this a little bit. See if we can get it to run along this opening here. Nope. All right, 1 second. Let's put another piece here. I see a little gap here maybe we can work with. Let's see if it's going to drop down in there. The inclination is for it to sit on the surface to one side or the other of the of the groove. Oh, there we go. All right. There we go. Okay, it's not 100%, but it is considerably more than what it was. What we'll do is we'll clean it up, right? And after it cools off, we'll do our pickle, we'll do all that stuff. We'll clean it up and we'll put it in a T-ball, put it in the ultrasonic, and see if they fall out. If they fall out, then we start all over and do it again. If they stay in, then we'll go ahead and polish it, re-ultrasonic, steam, all that stuff, and if it still holds together at that point, it's a pretty good chance, especially since it's a pendant, that it'll work the way that we want it to. Okay, so when it comes to invisible sets, remember there are different approaches that you can take. Every piece is going to be individual. You need to look at the piece and see what the most effective solution is going to be, as is the case with most of the other stuff that we do, whether it's a ring or a chain or whatnot, right? This is all about learning to read the piece and see what kind of information you can get from it so that you can make the most effective solution. All right? I hope that helped. Have a great day.